welcome to my first ever podcast. This is going to be called Vegetables Matter, and my name is Chloe. This is about my fibering life. I love spinning, knitting, crocheting, some felting, a little bit of weaving. Just kind of anything fibery that I do, which I love to do. I think I'll also include a little gardening section sometimes, just kind of what's going on in the garden, what I'm harvesting, what I'm planting, or, sometimes there's more happening, sometimes there's less happening. So, that is the idea. The first thing I wanted to talk about today is the seasons. I really, especially with gardening, but also in other aspects of my life, I've been really enjoying kind of connecting more with the seasons. That happens really naturally with gardening, but, and also in other things. Obviously you go swimming in the summer, and, well, for me, I do hot springs in the winter, different things like that. And the past couple of years, I've been working on just having little seasonal decorations in the house, just making these, cute little things that you can pull out and really acknowledge the seasons in that way, very intentionally and internally. So I've just put away kind of some of the Halloween things. So I also slowly like to just be creating more little ones. And there's not a lot of pressure, but it's like, oh, this season, that's my dog Wasatch. This season, like for Halloween, I made a little spider web, and I worked on a spider. I didn't 100% finish. I kind of got into some problems making some I-cord for the legs. So, and I kind of think, I might just put that away till next year and then bring it out and finish it up, because it just doesn't, it's not really the season to be working on that anymore. Just put that stuff away and brought out some new things and just thought that I would share kind of my new little things. So I guess first I'll show, I made these a couple years ago, just these little needle felted pumpkins. So I have a spot above the sink. I don't have a window in my sink, so instead I have a little shelf, and I kind of keep my little seasonal decorations there. So little pumpkins. And then I also have a friend who made this beautiful, who made this, I cannot figure out this backwards thing, who made this beautiful, I'm not sure if it's a wood cut or a lino cut. I kind of want to say wood, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So just kind of this nice little scene to acknowledge the seasons as well. I also have some little corn. Well, I was going to do gardening at the end, but it does tie in here. So I have kind of some smaller corn. I grew corn last year and again this year, and this is the corn that I grew. I've got like lots of baskets of these lying around as they're drying out, and then I'll pull off all the seeds, and for most of them, I'll keep a few of the actual cobs. And because I lost my train of thought. So I pull off the seeds, and then I grind the corn, and then I make cornbread with it. I have a lot of corn this year, more than last year, which is fun and exciting. So I have some, on my shelf I have a few little corn cobs, and then these little things as well. Kind of the way that I've been expanding that season, this kind of the seasonal decorations for fall this year are with, where are they? I've been making little garlands out of the seeds. So little necklaces and garlands. I've got a bunch of these little guys. So here's some of them. Kind of pretty little things. It's so easy to do things for fall, I think, and it's also a season where I don't necessarily need to be adding a lot more, because it just so naturally happens with the harvest. We just have, baskets of corn and tomatoes and garlic and onions and just all of these things already. But anyway, these were something I've been wanting to do for a while, so that's kind of been a project this season as well, especially to be giving as gifts to people. I always want to be giving more fiber gifts to people, but then it's hard. You know, it takes a lot of time. I really like processing the wool myself when I can, and so, you know, it's like to make someone something, it requires washing fleece and carding fleece and spinning it and then making something, and it's not something I can just do that quickly or easily for people. So these take some time too, honestly, but less time. And yeah, so I had some friends I was really wanting to make some little gifts for. They always give me little gifts, and I haven't seen them yet, but I'm planning to give them some little corn necklaces. I'll also show you. So I have, this is corn from last year, actually. This is my already dried corn, so that's what I've been making these out of. I soak the kernels, and then, you know, I soak them for a day or something, and then I can put the needle through them, and it goes through, and then they just dry up again, and they're fine. Although I have found that, you know, they shrink, and so in this one, you can see there's more space between them than I had originally had. So I've kind of, you know, sometimes I'll sort of like get them closer together, and then, you know, it leaves a gap then, and so anyway, I'm not quite sure. I'm learning. This is kind of a new thing for me, but yeah, it's been a fun little project this season. I don't plan to do anything more for like the November time, but I'm looking forward to December, and I have our old Christmas stockings. We actually have not, my family hasn't done stockings for quite a number of years now, and I really want to reintroduce it this year. So I have our stockings. This one is mine. My grandma made these all for us, I think, when we were born. It's acrylic, but then she does have, like, you know, the Santa's beard is kind of fuzzy. She uses some Angora for the beard. Mine is actually in great shape. There aren't any problems with mine. However, for my family, let's see, this is my brother's. You can see with the Angora bits, there's quite a bit of, it got attacked by moths. And so my plan is, this year, this is my mom's, and my mom's is actually all wool. So the whole thing's wool, and so there's more problems in other places as well. Yeah, cute little Santa. So my plan, oh yeah, there's a big hole. My plan is to try to fix these up for everyone, and then we can maybe start doing stockings again. Yeah, we've kind of really changed our Christmas or December 25th traditions the past decade or so, and it's been lovely. I mean, we really prefer what we're doing now, but we've kind of gotten rid of a lot of the stuff we'd grown up doing, and I think it's time to reintroduce this lovely tradition. So yeah, I'm going to be working on these and kind of have that be my next little seasonal decor project. Okay, so I'm actually at a little bit of a funny place right now in my fibering. Somewhat recently, I completed a number of larger projects, and I just haven't cast on the next thing yet. There's just been different problems with different ideas that I've had, and just nothing's happened. So it's a bit of a strange place, but I guess I'll talk about one of the finished projects that I have is weaving. So I'm not a seasoned weaver at all, but I recently took a beginning weaving class, and it was really great. I live in Utah, and I took it through the Pioneer Craft House with Deanna. I'm not sure what her last name is, actually, but it was like I had really high expectations for it, and it was like a lot better than I expected it to be. So I learned so much. And I knew going into the class that she said that we would do 2 samplers and then a project of our own design. And I knew exactly what I wanted my project to be. I had come across a shirt that was woven on Ravelry, and I'll try to put that info in here. And it was just so simple and cute. It's just, she took the fabric and she just like, it goes all the way front and back. So it's just kind of folded over with, you know, just a hole cut out for the neck. And then she just put in like little side panels here. So I was just like, I want to do that. That looks really simple and awesome. So that was my project, and I knew that I wanted it to be linen. So this is it. It's a twill that I wove on a shacked 4-shaft loom, table loom, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So this, I don't quite know how to show it. So I guess the plan is to make 2 shirts. So the first shirt, I kind of changed some colors. I don't know why exactly, but I did. The first shirt will be made out of this, and I don't think I'll mind that color change. It'll be fine. And then the second shirt will be this. Whoops, I can't figure it out. There we go. And then for those side panels, I have this part like this. So these I think will be the side panels for both of those different shirts. So this has been kind of finished for a while, and it brought me on to kind of, and it sort of steered me in this whole other direction because I don't have a sewing machine, or at least I didn't. I'm not an avid sewer. I feel, you know, I took sewing in high school, and I feel competent with it. I can thread a machine, but it's just not something that like grabs me. But a couple years ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I bought some hemp fabric, and I wanted to make myself a little a little summer shirt with that. And so I like figured out the design I wanted, and I cut it all out, and I was just like, okay, now all I need to do is go to someone's house and use their sewing machine. And that was 2 years ago, and it hasn't happened. So, so then when I had this, and I knew that I needed a sewing machine to then, you know, do the hems and all of that, and, you know, cut it apart, I was just like, you know, I haven't gone over to someone's house and used a sewing machine, and so I think it's time that I get my own sewing machine. So I did. I got this beautiful antique Singer. I knew I wanted a Singer when I wanted a machine. And sorry, I'm like petting it over here. Let's see. This is my awesome machine, and it is a foot treadle machine. So there's no motor. I don't know. Yeah, there's that foot, sort of, kind of. So that's been kind of an ordeal, getting it, and then I had to take it into the shop to kind of get it, you know, like, I don't know, serviced. It wasn't working, so got it serviced, and then it was just kind of still sitting there for, you know, a week or so, and finally, a couple nights ago, well, okay, the other problem was I wanted to be able to do a zigzag, but I knew, of course, this was a straight sewing machine. So I got this attachment that you can do a zigzag with. Ta-da! But I was worried, I didn't know if this attachment would actually work on this machine. I know some of them, it doesn't work on, it doesn't fit onto it. And so anyway, I spent a while the other day, you know, getting it all working and everything, and realized that the zigzagger doesn't work. So I'm like, okay, this is only a straight sewing machine. What do I do with that? Is that going to work? I love the machine. I absolutely love it. It's so beautiful. And actually, when I had it in the shop, you know, we'd had it in the house for a couple days and then took it to the shop, and I missed having it so much. And like when it came back, it's like, okay, good, it's back. So I was just like, okay, so it doesn't do a zigzag. Does that work with what I want it to do or not? And I did a little bit of research, and I think yes. So instead of doing a zigzag, what I've done is I've just done a straight stitch along the edge 2 times. And I have a, quite a narrow, I don't know, so in vocabulary, quite a narrow stitch. It's not a wide stitch, it's quite tight. So I did that, and I trimmed off the fringe a couple nights ago. And then yesterday, I wanted to actually hem it. So I pinned it up. And I really wanted to, hem this side and then, figure out exactly how long I wanted it to be, and then, sew my 4 stitches and then cut in between them and then hem that. And so I pinned this all, and then the machine started acting up, and I don't know, things are being all funky, and it's not liking it, it's not working, and anyway, I need to put some more attention over there and work on getting that working, because I was wanting to get this all done because I'm quite nervous about cutting the neck hole. And my mom is coming into town next week for Thanksgiving, and she is a very accomplished seamstress. So I wanted to kind of enlist her help with it. And I just wanted all of this to be ready, and then we can just focus on the neck. So, yeah, hopefully soon I can get this hemmed. I'm super excited that I'm making progress on this. Yeah, I'm really, really excited. I really want at least one of these shirts to get made up by the end of the year. So depending on how tricky the sewing machine is, that shouldn't be a problem. I should definitely be able to make that goal. So there is that lovely project. I'll just put in a heap. So that is weaving and sewing. Okay, so that was like the one big project that I finished, was the weaving, and then I also was working on a sweater for my mom, and I finished that up. It's wrapped away for her right now. She's coming into town next week, so I'm not going to bring that out, but maybe when she's here we can take a picture, and next time I can put that on to show what that looks like. So I knew that when I finished the sweater, there was this capelet that I really wanted to do. So it's called... shoot, I just forgot what it's called. It's called Waves of Change capelet. It's on Ravelry. It's a free pattern, and I'm so excited for it. It's part of like my craftivism style stuff. So well, I'll show a picture of it so you know. So my mom's sweater was made out of this Malabrigo, this beautiful, beautiful azul profundo. And I have enough left over from this project to make the capelet. I was really planning to spin it, but then I just have enough left over of this. I'm like, this will work. But then I've been trying to get, because it's a colorwork capelet, so I've been trying to figure out the yarn to go with it, and I've gone down to my yarn store, my local yarn store a couple times, and looked at what they had, and then we actually ended up, they didn't really have what I wanted. I was originally thinking a white, and then I realized that I actually want a gray to go with it, and anyway, they ended up ordering some more yarn to come in, and that took like weeks and weeks and weeks to come in, but it finally came in this last week, so I went down all excited to get it, and it wasn't right. The gray had this like really purple hue to it, and it just didn't work for this Water's Life capelet. So then I was kind of looking at the other grays that they had, and it just made me realize that I actually have this gray in my hand spun stash. This is alpaca, local alpaca to me. The alpaca's name is Eureka. And it's in my stash. I had been planning to make a skirt out of it, and then I kind of realized that alpaca, I like alpaca better when it's mixed with something, especially for a garment, especially for something on the bottom, I think, because otherwise there's just the sag factor. I have some alpaca pants. I love them, but they do kind of have a saggy butt. And I decided that I didn't want that for this skirt. So I have a bunch of this, and So I want to swatch it, see what I think, see if it's really, the colors that I want. But I think this might work out pretty well. So I need to get on that swatch pretty soon. Yeah, that's that plan. Okay, next thing. Let me look. Sorry, got my list and I have to check things off. Okay, next thing, let's talk about my current spin. Let's see, how am I going to show this? Can I just do this? So it's just white. It's not that exciting to look at. This is, again, some alpaca. So I have carded up all of this. Well, there's like bats upon bats in this basket here. This is, again, local alpaca to me. This is Kamaji, is the alpaca's name. And I'm spinning this up. So the project is for a sweater for my husband. I've been wanting to make him a sweater for a while. And in January of this year, I was in New York, and I'd been planning for his sweater to be, all natural and, local and everything. But I found this roving. Ooh, I actually should have some of the roving somewhere. It's in the other room. Oh, well. But I found this at Nitty City. I think it's Blue Moon Fibers, and it's Targhee. And ta-da! It was just these gorgeous greens and browns and blacks, and this roving just reminded me of my husband. It's just like, oh my gosh, those are his colors. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna get it. So I got it. I think it was 8 ounces, and I spun up just this bobbin. I spun it up right away, and then I was just like, there's not enough of this, obviously, for a sweater for him. So, and he'd also been really interested in having alpaca be part of his sweater. So, what I'm doing is I have this and I can do more of it, but I want to ply it with something. And I did a sample at one point of kind of some different things I could ply it with. And anyway, what I'm going to do is this that I'm spinning up now, I'm going to keep it as singles, take it off, into skein, and then I'm going to dye it with red onion skins to get a nice green color. And then when that's all done, then I'm going to ply it with this. And that way this kind of goes a little bit longer. So that will be one part of his sweater. And then, so that's Targhee alpaca. 1 ply Targhee, 1 ply alpaca. And then, over here, and I have a bunch of this spun up already. At my local fiber fair in May, I got a bunch of local Targhee. So I have this white Targhee, and then that acid dyed Targhee, and then plenty of alpaca. And so the plan is, oh yeah, and actually I have some of this spun up. So the plan is to have 2 separate colorways, but probably all kind of in the greenish range, but distinct from each other. So one will be this plied with alpaca, and the other is, I actually have a skein of it here. So this is already 1 ply of alpaca and 1 ply of that white Targhee. And so then I just need to make more of this and then dye it and have it be a contrasting color to that. So I don't know exactly what color I'll dye this yet, but anyway, it's still a long, I'm not going to be making this sweater for a while yet, but just kind of working on getting the yarn that I need for it. Maybe it'll be something that I finish by next year. We'll see. So, that is that project. I guess as I've been finishing my mom's sweater project and this weaving project and, really kind of figuring out what's happening next, I've really gone to spinning a lot more. Well, because I love it, and especially the weaving really took me away from it. I really was missing spinning, but I had to get the loom back by a certain time, and so I was just like, I have to weave, I have to weave, I have to weave. So it's been really good just to spin, spin, spin. And it's also been really important because I feel like I have a lot of fiber, and yet as I was finishing these and looking at what needed to happen next, I realized that I have this overflowing basket of hand spun, but I'm just trying to make a project out of it and nothing goes together. So I'm just like, okay, we have to actually have some bigger project spins. So that's kind of what I've been focusing Um, with that though, you know, I was feeling a little like, I need to use up my hand spun, and you know, I need to find some things that can go together. So this is what I discovered and am planning on as well. So another project in the dreamland. So again, when I was in New York, I got 3 things of roving. That was kind of my souvenir. So I got the Targhee, and then I also got, oh shoot, I'm forgetting now what brand these are. Oof, oh no. Well, oh well. So these are, oh, they're fabulous. Oh my gosh, I love them so much. This is this beautiful, beautiful green with, you know, it's just such a, it has some nice depth to it, all these grays and kind of blues and different colors of greens. It was so much fun to spin. So I spun this one first, and then this one. These are both Wensleydale. It was my first time working with a long wool, and oh, I loved it. It was so much fun. So much fun, and just really like emphasizing like getting it super worsted as I'm spinning it. Sorry, I'm like doing this motion. I'm like really, you know, getting all the air out. So having this nice dense yarn, really, really fun to spin. These are both 2-ply. So I have these, and then also at my local fiber fair, kind of what I got this year was some dye stuff, natural dye stuff, and then also like a pound of that Targhee and a pound of a Lincoln long wool. And so I had already had a bobbin of this that was all spun up of singles, and then I recently have just plied it together. So I have this, and I have tons more of this that I can make. So there's that. So my idea is that kind of all of these things are going to end up going together. And white can be the base. I have plenty of it. And then these 2 that are Wensleydale. And then also kind of since the weaving finished, I dyed this. This is the Lincoln. I dyed this with some Hopi black sunflower seeds, and got this really nice, it's a little bit difficult to tell the color. That's kind of it, but it's a little bit more blue than that. You know, it's just kind of this light grayish blue. It's really pretty. So I have this, and then this doesn't quite work with it because these are single still, so it's not the 2-ply. But this is well, it's actually a mystery wool. It was sold to me locally as alpaca, but it's not alpaca. It's a long wool, and it feels a lot like the Lincoln long wool. I don't know if that means it's Lincoln or if it's something else, but so she actually gave me some of that, and then you can see some of this is this lighter color here or here. And so she like didn't have quite enough in this one bag, so then she grabbed from this other bag. And this is alpaca, it seems like. So this is actually kind of this funny skein where most of it is this long wool, but then I do have some of this. And it was so interesting how differently they dyed. I mean, that long wool, I was really surprised. I didn't know this about it beforehand, but they really take dye as well. So yeah, this was indigo dyed. So I don't know if I would use this skein, but I definitely want to do some indigo dyeing. And then just kind of keep working on this stash, and yeah, just have these colors to make some kind of sweater for me, sweater or cardigan. And in my mind, I've been thinking of it as this ice cardigan, just kind of this really bright white with these different colors of blues and I guess a little bit of green. And so some kind of color work. I've been looking on Ravelry for something that matches. I can't find anything, so I'm not super experienced with garments. I mean, honestly, the sweater that I just finished for my mom, I think that's my second sweater I've ever knit. And both of them have been in the round. Yeah. So it's a little daunting, but anyway, it doesn't have to happen right away. And, you know, maybe I'll just do some kind of yoke sweater and just kind of incorporate these colors. I don't know. We'll see. But that is a project I'm excited about. Okay, so that's kind of some current stuff. I guess a quick little thing, what I'm wearing here, this is not a sweater that I knitted, but it is a hand knit sweater. I was invited to a fiber retreat early this year, I want to say in February, and at it, the people who were hosting it said, hey, we have these sweaters we're wanting to give away. And I kind of arrived a day or two late. So other people had kind of already seen these sweaters and like weren't interested in them. But she had this sweater and this sweater. So they were, it was her husband who was getting rid of them. Like an ex-girlfriend of his from like way back when had knitted these for him. And he just wasn't wearing them a lot. I think he said they were too warm. I don't get that. People always say stuff like too warm. I'm like, I get cold in the winter. Yeah, too warm. It sounds great. Anyway, they were getting rid of them and no one else was interested. And I'm just like, yeah. So this one like totally, I mean, I love it. It fits me great. And this one fits my husband perfectly. And so yeah, we got these in February and then it finally started snowing in February. And you saw my dog earlier. So I have two dogs. And we have a little dog sled with them. And so yeah, I just remember like really soon after that, we went dog sledding with them. And we're just having so much fun. And we both wore our sweaters. And we would just look at each other and just be like, you look awesome. It's like, no, you look awesome. So they look so good in the snow. And with our fuzzy little pups as well. So yeah, that's the story behind this sweater. I'm really excited for it to start snowing here. My husband's actually in Denver right now working on the outdoor retailer show and he says it's snowing there and I'm just like, oh, I want it to snow here. Yeah, it'll be really fun to start getting out and going dog sledding. It's such a nice time. I know some people think that's crazy, but I think that fiber people are like more into winter than other people are in general because we like all of our woolens and cozies and all of that. So, okay, that is that. The last little thing is garden. I already showed you the corn. Just got lots and lots of corn all over the house drying. But I guess the other little thing, and I really need to get out today and do and kind of finish this harvest. I've just been harvesting potatoes. So yesterday I went out just for a little bit and harvested some more potatoes. There was also this little volunteer carrot guy who was like albino, so that was interesting as well. Yeah, so potatoes. I've got lots of potatoes this year, and just need to finish up the harvest because it's been really cold. And yeah, they've been doing okay. Still in the ground, they're a little protected, but I think last night it was 20. I think all week it's just been really cold, and it's supposed to, I think, be 17 tonight. So it's just like I need to get these guys out of the ground. So yeah, just finishing up this podcast in the morning and then kind of get on to some other things in my day. I did it. This is me talking to my camera that might eventually say hi to other people out there. So yeah, thanks for watching. If anyone is watching, I really enjoy watching a lot of other people's podcasts, so I just wanted to kind of share a little bit about what I'm doing with you and yeah, hopefully kind of make some connections that way. Thank you so much and hopefully I will do this again. I'm kind of thinking once a month is how it will happen. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. We'll see if I can edit this together. It's a lot of it is pretty daunting to me, but I'm gonna give it a go. So again, thank you and have a wonderful time fibering and hope you're staying nice and cozy this fall.